Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspirational Wisdom, and today I have a special guest, Sparty Fortune.
How we doing?
I met Sparty 6 months ago, something like that. I've investigated or researched relationships for years. They fascinated me, and when I found Sparty, what I liked about him was he made me laugh. He told the straight, honest truth about how things really are.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked Sparty to come here and tell me a little bit about himself, what he does, how he helps people, and here's Sparty.
Nice to meet everyone. Nice to meet the channel and everything, and we're going to have a great interview. Going to provide a ton of content, a ton of value, and I'm really looking forward to this, so it's going to be awesome.
Okay, Sparty, tell me, I read your biography, and you said you had broken up with a girl or something like that in high school, or was in college, and it kind of knocked you down. You did all the things that society or people tell you to do, and it just didn't work. And so out of that is what was born your website and your desire to help people. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so for me, I've always had an issue with relationships, like when I was early on. So like, it always seems like the ones that I really liked, the girls that I really liked, I couldn't get them to stick around, right? So my first real relationship was like in high school going on to college, and I remember I thought I was doing everything right because, you know, you go to Hollywood, you see all these movies and everything, we're talking like, you know, I'm seeing all these things, you should do the nice thing, go deliver her flowers and everything, and all this shit. And so, I'm doing all these things, I'm doing nice things, I'm treating her good, I drive the girl to school, do all these things, I send her gifts in the mail, and when I go off to college and everything, I'm being what I think is like, I think I'm doing everything right, by being like a good boyfriend and everything. And come to find out, she just cheats on me, right? And that, for me, that really was painful for me, because she told me I'd never cheat on you. And for me, I never thought I would experience that, like some sort of just that pain or even getting cheated on, because I thought I'm doing everything right. Come looking back, I'm like, fuck, what the hell did I do wrong? Why the fuck am I like, why would I get cheated on, right? It's me, like, and I felt like I was doing everything right. She'd never do better. And then like a month later, she's just dating the dude that she's cheating on me with. So for me, I was like, I wanted to research that shit. So fast forward a little bit, I just put all my time and effort into just studying like what attracted women, how to kind of maintain the attraction, and for me, and that's where it started to grow. But the issue was after I got cheated on originally, I sucked with women, right? So I didn't know how to like talk to women. I thought I knew all the game. So like when we broke up and everything, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna get jacked. I'm gonna just make all these girls into me because I'm gonna put on a ton of muscle. I'm a good-looking dude. They're just gonna come swarming to me. Well, come to find out, just putting on muscle and everything, it just didn't work, right? It didn't work out. So I'm in college and like I wasn't getting laid that much. I didn't know what to say to a woman. Whatever I was saying, I would just get drunk at parties, and then like they didn't want to talk to me because I'm slurring some gibberish shit, and they didn't want to talk to me. So that's when I'm like, all right, I got to sit down. I got to actually fucking learn this shit. So I spent the last like 7 years of my life just studying and reading books and doing all this shit, to just watching videos. I had my own personal coach. He was coaching me on how just like lines to say and all that shit, like just to kind of just make conversations more engaging, and kind of the things that you do to keep these hot girls in your life that you like, how to kind of maintain the interest in them, how they can remain interested in you. So that's kind of what I did, and that's how I really started off with it. So then again, I love what I'm doing. Past 7 years, been studying. I'm still growing. I'm still learning new shit. And the more you know, when you do this full time and you're like working on this, you figure out things about yourself too, that you realize that, oh shit, I did this wrong and I didn't even know this was a bad mistake, right? Or something like that, you know? So I gained a lot of experience with that, and it's, again, love what I'm doing. And honestly, that heartbreak that I kind of went through when I was in high school and everything, or actually college, I should say, that was good for me, because it grew me. And for anyone who's like going through a difficult time and anything, you just kind of learn to grow, right? The pain brings growth. And I'm sure for you've gone through similar situations where with girls, and girls is always the ones that, for most men, girls are the ones that create the issues in our lives, because it's our emotions, and we're emotional human beings and everything. And when we're like that, right? And we can't help our emotions, like that's the thing that's going to trigger the most pain. It's not so much like, you know, obviously you have deaths in the family and everything. Those are very painful, but the ones that seem to linger the longest are the girls. So, and me, I've seen issues with most men. A lot of guys, they just go through this pain with like a girl that they like or a girlfriend that breaks up with them or get cheated on or some shit like that. And like, for me, I don't want anyone to ever experience that pain because it fucking sucks. It just sucks.
But it was good.
It was good because, you know, you get the growth out of it, which is good.
No one likes the pain, everybody likes the gain.
Right, yeah, the gain. So obviously when shit happens in a relationship, you're like, you know, you're right here, and then you sink the fuck down, right? But then you take some time, you're like, okay, like you evaluate. And I've always seen a broken relationship kind of like as a result, right? Because, yeah, it fucking sucks, but what we can do is kind of learn from the mistakes that we made so we don't make those mistakes again. So my last girlfriend that I had, it didn't work out. But I made a ton of mistakes that I didn't realize that I was making. So I take that experience, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to make these mistakes again. My next girlfriend, I'm going to do what I can to shoot up and do as best as I can and make that a more stronger relationship. And if that relationship doesn't work out, how can I adapt? How can I mold, you know? And obviously, there's no such thing as a perfect relationship. You're going to naturally fuck up. There's some times that we're human, right? We can't do everything perfect our whole lives. But what matters is how we handle the fuck-ups, how we react, how we respond to everything.
I agree. The one thing I liked about on your biography, or right below it, you said,
right.
And I'm sure I'm going to misquote you, is until you become a man, you don't deserve to have a fucking girlfriend or something
right.
like that. So
yeah.
when I read that, and that's true, when
yeah.
I read that, it really is about becoming a man, not so much about the lines, the pickup lines.
Right.
Yes, you can get laid using
right.
that, but until you become a man, like you talked about changing yourself, you're never going to have any kind of thing close to a successful relationship.
Correct.
So is that when you put that there, what do you mean by that?
So basically what I'm saying is it's not fair for a girl to date a guy who does not have fucking respect for himself. It just isn't. And a man has respect for himself. And if a guy doesn't have respect for his own self, how can a girl respect him? How can anyone respect him? So he's gotta love himself in a way that he deserves the best. He knows that he deserves the best. He doesn't deserve shit from another girl. He doesn't deserve a girl like going behind his back, like cheating on him or like talking shit about him, or she says she's gonna do one thing and then she doesn't hold her promise. He doesn't deserve that. He knows that. And if he, you know, it doesn't mean he's gonna, like, let's just say a guy's dating a girl and she's just like not abiding by her promises, or she says that, hey, I'm gonna be at X, Y, and Z, and she just doesn't show up or something, and it's a continuous problem. He's not gonna put up with it. But he might call her out and say, hey, you said you're gonna do this, you're not doing this. So why, like, and he just calls her out and he says for what it is, and he's like, hey, listen, if you don't respect me, I'm gonna fucking leave. I have no problem just leaving because this is not fair to me. My time's valuable. There's a limited amount of time on this universe, very fucking limited. Life goes by that really fast. For me, I started doing this like 6-7 years ago. I can't believe it's been that long. I don't know how old you are, right? But I'm sure you know that
60.
See, and that time probably flew by. You know, you're telling me stories about your
right.
younger days and everything, and you know, you're living in Missouri and everything, and you have, like, it was 5 years ago since you like went to St. Louis or something, right? Time flies. It just goes by so fast. And if a girl's not going to appreciate your time and value your time, why the fuck do you want to be in that relationship?
I agree.
You know?
So you would say then the strongest negotiating point with a woman in any relationship is to be able to walk away. Is that
right.
what you're saying?
Yeah. You always have to be willing to walk away, no matter what. Because what matters most is, like, yeah, it's going to suck. Sometimes losing a girl, yeah, it's going to be sad at first, but it doesn't matter because there's other fucking women out there. So if one of them's like mistreating you or something, it's okay. There's billions of fucking women in the world. So one of them walks away, all right, that's fine, because we're catches, all right? High status men like ourselves, we're catches. Other girls they'd be lucky. They'd be fucking lucky to be with guys like us who are strong, who have great ambition. I mean, you run your own company, that's ambitious. That's ambitious fucking work. So girls they're attracted to these high status dudes who are able to provide, and 95% of dudes out there, they really, really fucking suck. They don't know what they're doing. They say all the wrong shit. They're too needy. They put the girl as the cornerstone of their life that they're working for, you know, and they're doing all these things for the girl. They're not doing shit for their life's purpose.
Yeah. That seems to be a common problem, and I've fallen into that trap myself in my life, and it never ends up good, does it?
Oh, it never ends up good. Yeah, and what I always say is if you're following your life's purpose, right, and you're doing what you need to do, that's your number one love, right? So hypothetically, a girl she starts, I don't know, mistreating you or something like that, or she leaves you, right? And then it comes out of nowhere, she just breaks up with you. Your life's purpose is number one, so you're not going to be that affected if she leaves you because, your main love is what you're doing for, and that's your goal. And you own a painting company and everything. That's one of the things that you put the most effort into. And you growing your business, helping the employees out and everything, that's important to you. See, when you have all this focus into this one thing, and obviously the girl's there to support you, let's just say the girl leaves and she's like, no explanation. It's gonna suck, but it's not gonna be as painful as if she was the center of your life, right? So when the girl's the center of your life, it's gonna fucking suck. It's just gonna fucking suck when she leaves you, and she doesn't want to be the center of your life. Right. No matter what she says,
I agree.
She always says that why don't you give enough effort to me? Why don't you show me more affection? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Right? Well, the truth is, she does not want to be the center of your life. She just does not, because that's a turnoff. Because she thinks it's fucking weird. If everything, he's like, why does he love me so much? It's been like a couple weeks since I've known him. Why the hell is he doing all of this shit for me? Why is he picking me? Why is he picking me flowers? Why is he giving me chocolates? Why isn't he telling me that he really fucking likes me? All of this shit, and she doesn't want to hear that, But
yeah, that's what we're basically programmed with from the time we're growing up.
You look,
society, the movies, just treat them right, be nice. Do you think that? How many percentage of women do you think really know what they really want? I know they think they know what they want, but if you give them what they want, they wonder why and they don't even know. I don't know why I'm not attracted to him. He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy, and I can't tell you how many good guys that I know do all the right things, really nice men. The girls just don't like him that much. For some reason, they look back in time and like, why did I like this guy so much? He was such a fucking asshole. Why the fuck did I like this guy so much? He was such a dick, right?
Yeah.
And the reason is the guy who was the asshole never really put her first, right? And while he might not have had a life mission or something, right? He just didn't care that much because he cared about being an asshole to everyone else around him and just doing other things, right? And because she wasn't the main focal point, she just never really felt like a strong urge to be with him, right? And society nowadays, you look at Hollywood, you look at like Disney, for example, at an early age, we're telling like you got like Cinderella and the Glass Shoe and all the or like Pocahontas and all these like Disney movies. We got these princes like fighting and doing what they can for like these princesses, and for young boys, they're like, oh, I see this Disney movie, this is what I should do. I should go show up to her house unannounced and like deliver her flowers and within 1 week of meeting her, right? Or then you look at like a movie like Hitch or something, right?
Yeah.
This guy's like diving in front of a car that he met 2 days ago. Like that's just not normal. And then guys think naturally, they're like, oh, it's dug into their subconscious mind. I gotta work for this girl. And you look in the fucking wild. And I like to use the animals like as an example for like relationships and everything, right? The alpha male like lion. He doesn't fight for fucking girls, right? He doesn't really fight initially. I mean, he'll defend his girl, but like if he's the strongest lion in the kingdom, the girls are just going to be attracted to him. And when he's on his mission, hunting for prey, delivering his family, like I don't know what they eat, like zebras and shit like that, right? He goes out and catches a zebra. What do you think would happen if he's like, you know what? I just want to stay home with my family tonight. I don't want to go hunt. I just want to like be around and just support my female lioness wife, right? She would be pissed at him because she doesn't want that as much as she thinks she wants it.
Right.
And she would love the attention, love him to be around all the time. And he's not working hard for his family, right? He's not providing for his family, and that's just not fair. And she doesn't get attracted to that. And at the minute he starts doing that, she's going to lose attraction, and she's going to go find someone else of higher status who's on his path, on his goal, trying to do what he can to improve his life and his family's life and the people around him's life. So girls, again, they think that they know what they want, and I'd say a large amount of them, they think, wow, I would really like this guy who just supports me and just, he's there and just it's really nice to me, doesn't put me in my place, he's just a good guy. But in reality, they don't want that. They just don't, because they get bored of it. B, there's no mystery, there's no attraction, and he's just too nice. And girls, they like to get put in their place once in a while. Believe it or not, they think it's kind of hot when a guy yells at them. You know,
you have to be more of a man than they are.
Yeah, exactly. When a beta male yells at a girl,
Right.
she's like, "Fuck, get out of here."
You talk about the beta male and the alpha male, and then you have what you call a chai. That was the first time. What exactly is? Tell me the difference between the alpha, the beta, and the chai.
Oh man, I could go around. The chai is just the lowest of the low. So the beta males, right? So like I've learned after studying a bunch of guys over and over again, and just working with a bunch of guys, that there's the alpha who's on his purpose. He does everything right. The beta males, sometimes they make a lot of mistakes. They don't know what they're doing wrong. They're continuously making the mistakes. And then the chai is just the one who just ignores the mistakes. He knows he's doing things wrong, and he just continuously fucks up, right? And he takes it over the top. So for an example, I was working with this guy once, and I had to cut off business. Like, we had to stop negotiating. He reaches out to me. He says, "Hey, I'm having relationship issues. My girlfriend broke up with me. I'm really struggling." I'm like, "All right, cool. Let's work together, and we'll figure out a solution for you to like upbring yourself and just find that manhood that you lost." Because oftentimes a relationship breaks and you kind of lose yourself for a little bit, right? So part of what I do is I try to upbring those spirits. I try to get that fucking confidence back in you. So, and he admits to me, he's like, "Hey man, I've been doing a lot of beta shit. I was texting her all day. I stopped listening to my job and everything, and I'm just, I stopped putting as much effort into my job, and I just want to grow." And I'm like, "Okay, we'll do it." So while I'm working with him, he just doesn't listen to me. He doesn't listen to anything I say. He doesn't listen to any of my tips. I say, "Hey, stop reaching out to her. Stop doing this. Stop sending her videos," and he doesn't. The next day, he sends her a video of himself crying. "I miss you. I miss you. Please take me back." I'm like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Don't fucking do that." The next day, goes to her house, knocks on the door. She looks through the little peephole. She doesn't answer it. She sees who it is. She's like, "Hey, go away. I'm gonna get a restraining order." No, please take me back. Please take me back. I want all this. Like, she's like, "No, get the fuck away." And then again, she starts blocking him. She just blocks him on all social media because that's fucking nutbag move. You can't be fucking doing that. No normal human being is gonna do that, right? This is just chai behavior, right? And he starts posting himself crying on social media and sends it to her friends and asks his friends, or her friends I should say, to send it to her. And then all her friends ended up just blocking him. So that's just like an example of like chai behavior when you're just going over the top. And I've seen people like break into other people's houses, like going through the windows, trying to like beg and plead and stuff like that. And that's just like over the top, right? Beta behavior, I would say, you do some things wrong, and most people just don't even know that they're betas. They're just doing shit wrong, and they just don't take the time to study, right? So like for me and you, we've taken time out of our days to invest in ourselves, invest in our personal development, to learn what's attractive to women and what's not attractive. Betas they just never really have done that, and sometimes their ego is too high. They think, "Oh, I know everything about women, I don't need any help," right? And that's what most dudes' issue is. They don't think that they need help. Well, everyone fucking needs help, okay? You don't know this shit because, like I said, at an early age, we're watching Disney movies, we're watching all these movies where it's been engraved in our mind that to do all the wrong things. And our parents, they don't know shit. They're not teaching us shit. And, for example, my mom was always saying, "Make sure that you're really, really nice to all women. Make sure you hold the door for all women."
Yeah, that'll get you places.
Yeah, it'll get you. You know what it's going to get you? It's going to make you finish in last. And I always say, if you're too nice to a woman, you're not even going to finish in last. You're going to finish in the shower. So you don't want that. You don't want that. So yeah, that's exactly. So, like I said, from an early age, it's been a struggle for just most guys because, again, society, like I said, it's just engraved in our minds to do the wrong thing. So what I like to do, I like to drive the correct shit into people's brains.
Well, we need people like you because I think there's a lack of role male models in the homes now because we have such high divorce rates, and many guys are being raised by their mothers.
Right.
And the worst person you can take advice from about going out with a girl is another woman.
Yeah, and that's another one of my biggest tips, right? Never take advice from women. Never fucking do it. And most dudes will not listen to me, right? They'll take advice from the woman because they're like, oh, it's a girl. She'll know she knows what I like, right?
She doesn't want to hurt your feelings, so she doesn't want to say the cold hard truth.
Right.
That you're being a baby or a
right.
shy or whatever.
Right. So I actually had a test on this, right? So I know a female dating coach, right? And we communicate back and forth, and she's coaches a lot of men and women, right? And I was going through a situation myself, right? And it was a struggle, and I was just telling her about it. I was just shooting the shit with her, and she's like, and I remember me and this girl, we got in a fight or something, and she kicked me out of her house or something. And I don't blame the girl for kicking me out of the house. I was being a fucking drunk idiot, right? And basically what she's saying, stop drinking so much. And obviously you don't want to drink to an extent. Like, it's just not good. Especially with women, if you drink too much, no girl's gonna fucking think that's attractive, right? You're just falling around doing all this shit. But anyway, I apologized to the girl, and after it happened, I was like, hey, sorry for him. It's not gonna happen again. And she accepted my apology. And anyway, I told the female dating coach, hey, like I this is what happened with this chick, and we're just good friends. I wasn't looking for advice or anything, but she's like, listen, you should hit her up today and try to hang out with her. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that, right? And she's like, no, I would really like it if a guy hit me up the next day and made me just reached out again trying to hang out. I think that would mean a lot. I think that would show her a lot. And I just wanted to test it out, so I did it, just to kind of make a point to show her that she was going to be wrong. And again, she's a female dating coach, and she's like, I know this is what I would want. I'm like, this is not what you would want. Yeah. I guarantee this is not going to work. So we had a bet, right? So we made a $100 bet that I would be right and she would be wrong. We shook on it. Who was right? Me. It didn't work. So in that situation, when you fuck up with a girl...
So what happened? You got me curious.
Yeah, so I remember I reached, and shit's fine with the girl now, but I remember I reached out to her. I said, hey, what do you... Or I'm like, let's hang out or something, right? And she's like, no. She just said no back. I'm not hanging out with you. That was it. I'm like, okay, this clearly didn't work. So I sent that text message right back, and the girl, I said, see this? This is why you don't listen to women. This is why I'll never take advice from women. And but anyway, what you would want to do in a situation when you fuck up like that, though, right? And we're just spitballing here, right? But if you fuck up with a girl, you fucking apologize, and you then at that point, after you apologize, you don't try to do too much, If you keep trying to say you're sorry over and over and over and over again, and she's gonna be like, okay, what the hell?
You look weak.
You look weak as hell.
A man admits he's wrong, and that's it.
That's it.
About it.
Right, exactly. And when you admit you're wrong, that's it.
And she brings it up again. Yeah. There's nothing really to say about it.
Right. You made your apology. You regret it. We're moving on in the future. We're not focused on the past. We can't keep looking in the rear view mirror, or we're gonna crash.
Right.
Right. So in that situation, girls notice that. So you just apologize and you say nothing, and eventually she'll get in touch with you, which this girl eventually did get in touch with me, right? But it took a little longer after I took the advice from the female, right?
Right, slowed things down.
Right, exactly. So you never want to take advice from females. And again, this is what's a struggle, because I think the divorce rate nowadays is 50-60%.
Yeah.
So that means half the kids out there, they're living with their moms, and then, when they have a relationship issue or something, they go to mom. And mom, a female, tells her the wrong thing.
Right.
They're not with their father. And if they're not with the father, then who are they fucking listening to,
So how do you think women test you? You believe women test you? They're constantly testing you.
Oh, they're constantly testing you. They're testing your manhood, whether they know it or not.
And why do you think they do that?
Subconsciously, they test you because they want to see if you're actually a fucking man. So, sometimes they'll see a high stats male, and he's got all the, he's doing everything right. He's got the body language,
all the
right?
trappings and the body,
Yeah, he's got the body language. He might have a good car, or he might have a lot of money, or he might present himself really well, but then she'll give him shit tests here and there, right? And she'll test him, see if he's weak. Is he really that fucking high status? She wants to see is there any chinks in the armor? So, for example, girls will try to get guys to get jealous all the time. That's one of the things that...
The jealousy test.
The jealousy test, right? And if a guy they'll say something like, oh, I've been texting this guy keeps sending me funny clips. And for most guys, they want to know who the fuck this guy is. Who's this guy talking to my girlfriend? Or who's this guy trying to steal my girl or whatever? Why is she talking to him? But what she's doing is she's fucking testing him. And if a true fucking man knows that he's incredibly attractive, he's incredibly good looking, there's like fucking 95% of dudes out there are weak as shit, right? When he knows that, he's like part of this top 5%. He doesn't get a fucking he doesn't fear fucking like I don't know, a goose going after his girl, right? He's a lion. Why would he be scared of a fucking goose or a fucking hyena? He's the top of the fucking food chain.
Okay, so tell me, in a situation like that, how does a person, you realize she's shit testing you with the jealousy thing, but then you have boundaries also. Where does it cross the line between she's shit testing and she's actually disrespecting you? Right.
So this is one of the things you got to be aware of. Red flags, right? So one of the red flags is, like, let's just say, and I've never been put in this situation, but I'm just giving you an example of a guy who's just unsure about his girlfriend, right? So he had a girl, and I've been working with this guy, and I'm not going to name his name or anything, but his girlfriend was constantly going out and not inviting him out, and she was taking selfies and shit with a lot of guys, right? And
yeah, that's the thing now.
Right. And then he would find, like, he would go to her house and, like, find, like, just like her panties or lingerie, like just kind of sitting on the bathroom and shit. And he wasn't receiving any photos or anything from her. And he's like, why the hell would you be wearing that, right? At that point, you want to fucking call the girl out, right? Because you don't want to fucking, you won't want your girl behind your back fucking sending naked photos to another random dude, right? So you gotta like be able to just say, hey, listen, I don't fucking appreciate this. You're not sending me any of this shit. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You gotta fucking call her out and have a conversation like a man, right? And you can hear her out, or you can just fucking walk away at that point. But for me, I would just say, hear her out, see what she has to say, and if you genuinely believe her, then okay. But if there's actual issues going on, you think she's actually being really sketchy, then fucking you just gotta walk away. Because she's not gonna walk away from you if she can fucking toy with you back and forth.
Right, your security for her.
Right, exactly. If she, if she thinks she knows that she's gonna fucking, she's able to toy with you, she's not gonna do anything. And I'll tell you this, if a girl's disrespecting a man, and this will happen a lot when girls will start to disrespect dudes when they start like yelling at them a lot. And once in a while, fine. But if it's over and over and over again, like throughout, like let's just say it's like a month span of just nonstop gibberish, and she's basically asking you to walk away. She's saying, "I'm losing attraction for you. Walk away." And most of the time, the guy thinks he's got to do more. Subconsciously, he thinks, "Okay, she's yelling at me. Let me try to fix these things. Let me try to like fix this relationship, right?" And yet she's still yelling. Well, the thing is, like, she's not going to stop yelling until he's a man enough to walk the fuck away, because he doesn't appreciate getting yelled at nonstop, and he's not getting any affection from the girl, so he's got to fucking walk away. And ironically, when he walks away, that's when she starts to respect him again, and then she starts to chase for him.
Well, what do you think about, we're talking about the communication, texting. What do you think about this texting? Do some women use that to test a man there to see if he...
Yes. Yeah. So, and my issue with texting is it's horrible for communication. Yeah. It's terrible. You got emojis nowadays that make no sense to me. You got like, sometimes you make crack a joke or something, they don't understand the joke. One party doesn't understand the joke. So all the time. And like, my thing is with texting is, girls, it can only hurt you, right? If too much texting will hurt you. Girls, they use it as a way, like they'll evaluate text by like paragraphs, right? So a lot of dudes, they'll send paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs, and what that shows her is, this guy really fucking likes me. He's got nothing else to do all day. He's just texting me paragraphs over and over and over again. What's it like? Isn't he supposed to be working on at his job, or isn't he supposed to be doing this? And basically, right there is like, that's a test, right? And these guys are responding back in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, right? It's like, what are you doing all day, right? Obviously, your life isn't like important enough. So she's like testing you by like with these text messages. Now, sometimes she wants to have a conversation with you. Fine, whatever, right? But if you're like responding back within 5 minutes each and every time, like each and every message, or 15 minutes. Or you can't go like an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours without responding, like that's an issue, right? That's an issue. That's basically telling her, like, I'm doing nothing all day, I'm not working towards anything. And for her, she doesn't want to get a text back from you every 5 minutes.
Right.
What girl wants that?
Well, see, I've made that mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Being an older guy who come into this messaging and all that, I had no idea how it was. I did not know there was a psychology to that. I understand it now because I learned from my mistakes.
Right.
Yeah, for a guy who doesn't know, it was very difficult. But for anybody out there that's older and you get in a relationship where there's some texting, I have to agree with Sparty. It can really only hurt you. The phone is basically just for setting dates. Too much time talking, and I have done it. Too many messages, too much time talking. Just ruins attraction, ruins the relationship.
It definitely does, and this is one of the biggest issues nowadays, right? A guy, and this is an issue with a lot of my friends, right? They'll meet a girl, they really like this girl, right? And they really kicked it off, they really hit it off, and then they just think that the best way to attract them is by texting. And the more texts that I send, the more rapport that I'm going to build with them, and they're going to like me more. I'm like, fuck no, cut that shit off. Yeah, right. So, and the more you do that, man, I can't tell you, you're just digging yourself into a grave. So what I like to do is, the best way to create mystery is like, kind of show them that you're not be around all the time, right? So now that we might not be able to see girls 24/7, right? Because like we're at work or we're doing, some people have school, whatever. But now with texting, it's like, okay, now you can be around at all times. If you're texting them all day, then you're giving no space for them to think about you. And part of like when a girl becomes like obsessed with a dude or even considers it love, right? She's got to start thinking about this guy more and more. So for me, when I'm early on in a relationship, right, I don't like to text the girl at all. I don't want to text her at all. I'll just make dates with her, and when we don't talk through text, we don't talk through the phone, our in-person communication is so fucking powerful. And what do you think matters more? A couple letters on a fucking phone screen, or fucking like eye contact, good conversation, and then banging later, right? You know? So that's what you want. And again, texting fucking hurts it. It fucking really hurts it. So, and it prevents, I say it's the biggest cock block in the world right now.
I agree. And now let's talk about this. We've discussed this before. How does this social media such as Instagram and I guess now TikTok is another thing, and these women get validation from that, how does that affect for a man to try to date one of these women that's, let's say, has got thousands of followers on Instagram?
So this is the issue, and I've dated like Instagram models before. I've hooked up with Instagram models. Or really fucking hot girls that they get a lot of likes on their photos, or got guys commenting on the hard eyes, oh, you look so pretty, or you look hot, I would love to squeeze your ass. It's like random fucking pervy shit, right? So you deal with that shit all the time. And a lot of these times, like the girls with the like more and more followers, they will kind of let it get to their head a lot more. And I've actually noticed that these type of girls, I don't want them in my life, personally, because they let it get in their head, and then they'll start beefing with you, and they just got a bitchy attitude all the time, it feels like. No, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them, right? And they let it kind of get to their head, and if you've ever met a celebrity, right, and you kind of observe them from the outside, majority of them, they're kind of just fucking assholes, right? They're just really assholes, so they try to just treat everyone like they're better than them. So, like last night I was staying at this hotel, and I was talking to a pilot, right? And he said he used to pilot for Lady Gaga and Selena Gomez, and he was just a private jet flyer, and he would just fly them all over the place. He said they would leave him no tips. He said that they wouldn't say thank you. They would give him bitchy attitudes and shit like that, right? And he's like, I learned not to like, I don't really, and he's like, not all of them are like that, but a lot of them are like that, and it's just kind of like, it kind of makes you, it's like, I wouldn't want to be around them all day, right? Now, Instagram has allowed girls to get a lot of followers, and it kind of lets them get to their head in a way that they think that they're fucking royalty, right? And it causes guys to not treat them as other human beings. Like the guy ain't treating her like a human being. He's starting to try to treat her like a celebrity.
Right.
And and
then he gets treated like a fan.
And then he starts to get treated like a fan. And like I've said in one of my videos before, if you treat her like a celebrity, you get treated like a fan.
Or if you treat her like a queen, you'll get treated like a servant.
Like a servant.
That's very true.
Yeah, so that's what guys start to do, because, obviously, naturally, guys think, she's so fucking hot, right? And it, lets her get into her. He's like, I gotta not fuck up. I gotta, make sure I do everything right. And then they'll start to, really, really, get into it, right? So one of the things is, sometimes there are girls that are so hot, and guys overthink it, right? And they try to do too much, so they'll like go to YouTube or something, try to figure out how to keep her attracted, make sure that they're doing all the right things, and then they'll try to text her less or something to try to create attraction. But subconsciously, what he's doing is he's investing a ton into her because he's just thinking way too much into it, right? And he's trying to play these games. Girls aren't attracted but to games. They're just not. They just want a fucking man.
And they pick up on the energy of that. Even if you're not texting all that, when it's coming from a place of insecurity or need or want, it's like, it doesn't matter what you do on the outside, if it's coming from the wanting or neediness, and they pick that up no matter where they're
Oh my God, yeah.
You talked about something else. What was it? Oh yeah, what I liked about your site, one thing you talked about is, I heard a video you had once talk about, you said, I'm a 10. Doesn't matter if anybody else thinks I'm a 10, I think I'm a 10. And I agree with that, and metaphysically speaking, because what you are, you've heard this, what you are speaks so loudly I can't hear what you're saying. So that's such great advice, I think, because people want to change the outside, but until they are that man, like you say, that woman is not going to be, she may go out with him, but once she gets to the core of that man and find out what he's really like, if he doesn't believe he is a catch or a 10, she's certainly not going to either.
Oh,
so I like that. Which
and like I said, and you said it pretty perfectly, the universe begins to accept who you believe that you are, who you portray yourself to be. So me, I think I'm a fucking 10. I do. Internally, I fucking believe that I'm a 10, right? Not every girl fucking thinks that, but I don't give a fuck what
doesn't matter. You believe it.
Yeah, I believe it. So
I think the same thing. You know what? The world bears witness. People tell me things that it's amazing how that works.
Exactly. And you start telling yourself a 10. You start portraying yourself a 10. You're walking around with your shoulders back. You're walking around like you run the fucking city, right?
Exactly.
Girls are going to naturally be more attracted to you, and I'm sure girls, when you adopt that mindset, you realize more girls want to fuck you. Right? That's just like what it comes down to. So you're walking around like, you feel fucking good about yourself. You feel like a fucking 10. They're going to fucking believe that. And I got challenged by this by the girl that I'm dating the other day. She's like, what do you think you are? I'm like, I'm a 10. She's like, no, seriously. I'm like, I think I'm a fucking 10. She's like, stop it. Like, tell me. I'm like,
I would say the same thing if asked.
Yeah, exactly. I genuinely believe that. She's like, all right, you're being a douche. I'm like, I don't care. Whatever. I don't care.
Isn't it amazing how people think? It does seem like arrogance, but the reality is most people don't think as much of themselves as they should.
Right.
Everyone should think more of themselves instead of less. But as you say, when you start acting that way, a lot of people will try to knock you back down because they're not used to it. Because most people are like, oh, I don't know, I'm about a 5 or something like that.
Right.
And that's, if you believe you're a 5, that's all you're ever going to be.
Yeah, that's all you're going to fucking be, right? And I think right now we kind of like live in this universe where everyone's so scared to be politically, like just be genuinely themselves.
Afraid to offend someone.
Yeah, they're afraid to offend someone, afraid to say something negative. So they're constantly trying to think, what's the right answer, right? So for most people, like a girl would ask him, what do you think you are, right? And I'm out there saying, I don't think I'm a fucking 10, right? The guy would be like, I don't want to say that I'm coming off as like I'm too hot, so he won't give his actual opinion, right? So he'll say something like, oh, I think I'm like a 7 or something like that, right? So that's the fucking issue. And like, there's not a lot of figures like that who are just like, say what's on their fucking mind, just says it and is unapologetically themselves. And President Trump, for example, he gets a lot of fucking hate. He said, and love the guy or hate the guy. I don't agree with it.
He speaks his mind.
Yeah, he just speaks his mind. He doesn't give a fuck, right? And I respect people who do that shit because, I don't agree with everything he says, but he's just, he's genuinely himself, right? And there's very few, like, in society nowadays, there's very few figures of people who are just outly putting themselves out there. You look on TV, the main, like political figures, politics is all fucking fake, right? Or like you see celebrities out there, they're all saying the nice things and everything, but they're not saying like what they truly believe. They're not actually portraying their real selves. So like I feel like in the internet nowadays, it's important for people to just unapologetically be themselves. That's why I don't like when I like to swear on camera. Other people out there, they try to be like use proper language. But, well, this is how I fucking talk. This is who I am. I swear like a sailor.
You're being authentic.
Yeah, I'm being authentic.
That's what we have a lack of today is authentic people.
Exactly. We lack authentic people, and because of that, like society, this is why society's kind of getting driven into this pussy ass fucking nation. And it's people like me and you who got to like show the world, hey, it's okay to be ourselves. It's okay to be actually like someone. like who we truly are internally, because it's a fucking lie, and it's not fair for society to see the fake version of yourself,
Right.
and it's especially not fair to the girl that you're seeing if she doesn't get the real you.
Right. Well, I grew up in the '60s, and things were quite different back then. Men still sat around and talked. I remember when I was a kid, there was a liquor store, and all the men would go by. They'd buy their alcohol and sit back there and all talk in the evening. But we don't have that anymore, and there's just not the male companionship, so to speak, or where they can sit around. When I was out there, if a girl got to, if you were going to go out with your buddies and then you told, I can't go, I got to go with my girlfriend, they'd call you pussy whipped.
Right.
There was people calling you out back then, telling you what you were doing wrong. But now it seems like we have a lack, like I said, a lack of male leadership. So that's why I think it's good what you're doing, because where else are these young people going to hear what they need to hear?
Right.
Because society tells them, like you said, the feminist movement in the '60s almost acts like it's bad for you to be a man.
Right.
A dominant male.
Yeah.
I don't even like to use that word dominant, because it's like dominant is bad. It's not bad to be a dominant male. It doesn't mean you're beating anybody up or being rude, but you're being a man.
Right, exactly. And when you're not being a man, you're actually portraying like feminine energy, right?
Exactly.
And no matter what the girl is, right? A girl is a straight girl, I should say, for the most part. A girl is attracted to masculinity. She's not attracted to feminine energy. And I used to date a feminist, right? So this girl claims that, I want to be in power. But the truth is, she wasn't attracted when when I gave her some sort of power, she wasn't attracted to that. And she's like, for some reason, I can never get attracted to the guys who treat me the best. Like,
Exactly.
And I'm like, this is what I mean. The feminine, listen, I support women's rights. I support girls like getting CEO jobs and everything. That's fine, but
Yeah, I agree.
Let's just say you take a very powerful girl, right? And she's a CEO of a company, very powerful, and she might make billions of fucking dollars. If she goes home and her husband is like bowing down to her, she's not gonna feel any attraction for
Wearing
him.
the apron cleaning.
Right, exactly. So she might make a ton more money than him, but
Right.
like if he's like cleaning that, if he's like if he's not bringing in masculine energy, she's not going to feel any attraction for her. No matter how masculine she is during the day,
Right.
in order for her to want to have sex with him or something, he needs to provide this strong masculine energy, or else she's not going to feel attraction, and she's going to start thinking about like fantasizing about other men or something like that.
Right. Yeah, I see that in a lot of relationships. People that get married and then they quit having sex. The woman's not attracted to him anymore. But you also hear the same man say something like, well, I have to go ask the boss, referring to his wife as the boss. Not that I'm saying the man or the woman should be the boss, but there needs to be a leader.
Yeah.
It's almost like what I've read and what I've understood is women want to feel equal to every man except the one they're with.
Right.
Because if they feel equal to him, then they don't have attraction. There's not the polarity. There's polarity, no matter what. I mean, we're not going to change biological evolution where women needed men for 150,000 years. What was just 150 years ago or more? Men and women didn't marry for love.
Right.
They married for support, practical, to help each other.
Right.
And this romance and stuff only come on shortly.
Right.
Not too long ago.
And I can give you an example of this, like the girl that I'm seeing at the moment, right? So she and she's good. She tries to grow me and everything. I really enjoy being with her. We were talking about like maybe going on a trip or something, right? And she's like, I just haven't made a decision. And she called me out basically. She's like, you say you're gonna do things, but you haven't done them. Basically, what she's saying to me is, start being a man and actually go follow through what you're gonna say.
Right.
For me, it's like, okay, well. Shit, like I gotta. This is how girls will like call you out on some shit. They'll tell you.
Sometimes you can't see it till you look back. I'm like, shit, she was telling me what I did.
Yeah, exactly. And again, like I said, sometimes it's hard to consistently be 100% like all the time. You're gonna fuck up here and there, and the girl will let you know, and she's gonna give you little hints. And for our guys, they don't take these little hints. Right. They don't take these hints, and they'll continue to fuck up over and over again.
They're pretty logical. You mostly lay it right out for us, so we don't understand it.
Right, exactly. And no matter who you are, you could be like Dan Bilzerian. You could be a strong, powerful man. You could be whoever the fuck you want. You're gonna fuck up at some point, right? Girls,
everybody does.
Right, and you just got to be aware and just like, oh, I fucked up here. Like, let's not do it again. Sometimes in baseball, you're gonna strike out. Sometimes it happens. You evaluate, you look at the tape, you evaluate, okay, this is how I'll adjust. This is how I'll make up for it, right? So it's just the same and you just got to be aware, right?
Well, tell me, if there was one thing you could leave with our viewers that would help them more than anything, what would it be? What would you say to them?
Wow, I could to
Yeah,
limit it
one
to
thing.
one.
I don't know, it's a brand name thing. Let's
Yeah,
do it.
no, I know. One thing I would just say: be yourself. Just always be yourself, and stop looking for approval from other people. Stop looking and leave your ego out the window too. Just focus on developing yourself. Focus on your goals. Stop looking for other people's advices. Stop taking in opinions of other people. Stop changing for fucking girls. Be your fucking self. Authentically be yourself. Unapologetically be yourself, and grow from there. And I'm telling you, the girls will come to you. They'll love you more. They'll support you more. They'll want to be part of your life more. And put girls second. Put your life first.
Yeah, you won't have to chase them. They'll be chasing
They'll
you.
be chasing you. Yeah.
Okay, well, man, it's been an honor having you here today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for having
Now,
me.
what is your YouTube channel?
Spartacus Fortune. Yep.
Spartacus Fortune.
Yep.
You have a website.
Yep, SpartacusFortune.com.
Fortune.
Yep, and from there, anyone has any questions regarding a relationship that they're in, maybe they're in a difficult situation, maybe they want help picking up chicks, maybe they want to know what to say to girls, maybe they are losing confidence, whatever it is, that's what I do for work, and it's not just relationships. I do life coaching, I do business coaching, I do it all. So if you want to reach me, you can send me an email or go to my website. It's SpartacusFortune.com, and from there we'll work it and we'll fucking kick some ass like we've done in the past.
Great. Well, thanks.
Yep.
Great having you here, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having
Sparty.
me.
And we'll see you next time.